No, it's not a bad video card, Cheese. Suck it. It's the API freaking goes down. Stream Element. Listen, it's a big production on this side. It's a big production on this side. Okay. It's not easy streaming to 15 different channels across the interwebs. ZVSA going back up. Shut up, Chase. I did buy a new cable for this monitor, and I haven't had that flickering bullshit issue since. Thank you very much. Soils, you're not in this? Listen, Soils, you can see the moment that I went and took a shower. It's right here. And then I went and took a shower, and it did that. And then I came back from a shower to watch it do that. You didn't tell me any of that. I didn't know it was going to open at 10:45. Let me see who the underwriter is of this fat N. Maybe there's some WTF and top W up in that piece. We'll find out.
FatPipe Inc., NASDAQ has priced its initial public offering, IPO, at 575 cents per share, offering 695,656 shares of common stock. The company expects to raise approximately $4 million in gross proceeds before deducting underwriting discounts and related expenses. D. Boral Capital LLC is serving as the sole book-running manager for this offering.
Does Boral Capital have any other IPOs they are running this week? I love this. I use ChatGPT solely now for my search. Google, I've been saying this for a year now, is going to lose market share. Their search is going to lose market share to this shit. I haven't used Grok, but I hear a lot of people use Grok.
As of April 8th, 2025, D. Boral Capital LLC is serving as the sole book-running manager for FatPipe Inc. NASDAQ FATN initial public offering, IPO, which is scheduled to commence trading today. Regarding other IPOs this week, D. Boral Capital is involved with Robot Consulting Co., Ltd's IPO, which is anticipated to price during the week of April 1st, 2025. The offering includes 2.5 million shares at a price range of $4 to $6 per share, aiming to raise approximately $12.5 million.
Robotics?
Please note that IPO schedules are subject to change due to market conditions and regulatory approvals. For the most current information, it's advisable to consult official filings or contact D. Boral Capital directly.
And there we go. Robotics IPO next month? Hell yeah, I'm here for it. Wait, and then back to the highs? Wait, what was that? Holy shit. Careful, this isn't as euphoric as the last push. And here we go, halting up. Oh, false halt. Someone's unloading. TRN are trying to get that VWAP. Still training? Huh. Jeez, the spreads. I just missed it. Rejected 15 pretty hard there. That's whippy. Oops. Okay. This thing's crazy. Fat end holding 15. No, that was my friend asking stock questions. Halting up. Fat N. It's Fat N. It's crazy. MLGO curl. Top W. TF. CRWV. Robotaxi testing in Los Angeles from Amazon. Not moving half as fast as it should. Can you see building sign from the interstate on G Maps? Can you really? Oh, was that a few minutes ago? Oh, I see it now. Oh, I forgot to put on Trade Exchange. By the way, highly recommend them. Benzinga and Trade Exchange. If you can't afford one, Trade Exchange is cheaper. This is Benzinga. The guy before that was Benzinga too. is very helpful if you're a day trader. They do month by month subscriptions if you need to try it out. They do have a 2-week trial for free. I mean, ask about it. Check it out. Highly recommend. Hmm. Yeah, Brox. So that's good that you've paper traded for 3 months. Hopefully you're successful in doing so, right? That would be the only reason why you'd be swapping. But once you go real money, start with 1 share. Because now you've got to learn the emotional side of things. What's it feel like when I actually lose money or make money on a trade? It's very important you start small. 1 share until that feels like nothing, then 2, then 5, then 10, and you slowly come up. What you're trying to avoid is that big loss, revenge. I got to get it back. Oh no, I'm spiraling out of control, blah, blah, blah. Zero a day to feel max emotion. Yeah. What is this? Hey, NVIDIA, you want to freaking chill here? HLD? Jeez. What's this? Not me. Not me. Get rid of it. It'll break. Told you. Fat pipe showing 1725. Holy hell. Look at this diagonal down here. Look at this guy. Give me an 11. Give me a 10. Oh my gosh, dude. $19.31. Winston, are you still in this? Or you just got out? Tell me you killed it. Tell me you killed it, Winston. You YOLO'd 1750 rep? Holy jeez. You have what, 1,000 shares left? How many 1,000 shares do you take? You're right. You know how to ride a fat pipe, don't you, Winston? Huh? Don't you? Freaking ride that fat pipe. My taint is tingling? Bet it is. Forgot to use lube again, didn't you? You know nothing about riding a fat pipe. Find it a little sus that you had to make that point for us, Chase. Man, Eshe is small fish compared to chat. Chat coming into Winston. Guess it's $6. $1 billion? It's not really that much. It's not a lot. Its market cap $775 billion. Watch it bounce right back up. Winston, how many shares did you have? Winston's over there freaking changing his socks over there every 5 seconds. 5K at the open? Oh my gosh. How much are you up? How much are you up, Winston? Winston's riding the fattest pipe over there. About 1,000 million. That's about right. Damn you. Congratulations. I would have ridden the pipe with you, Winston, had I not left 1 minute early. Be right there with you riding that pipe. What?
You smell that? What is that?
What?
What's that smell?
The cologne?
No.
Opportunity.
Oh.
Money.
Okay.
I smell money.
Okay.
Winston gifting out the 5 gifted subs. My man, let's go. That's how you do it, boys. See, you make $30,000 and then you give 25 of it to chat as a gift. Say, bitches, you don't deserve the rest of my 229,975. That freaking bird. I'm gonna freaking shoot it. It's a flex. It's the flex, Winston, right? That's the flex. You gotta flex. You deserve the flex. And we're here for it. We'll let you ride that fat pipe so you can flex all over it. We're here for it. Resub for 6 months at tier 2. Let's go! Finally! Someone with the balls to step up to tier 2. Speaking of freeloaders, you want to talk about freeloaders. That's all of YouTube. None of you sub. All of you just watch with your ad blockers. I respect that because I do the same. But I'm just saying, you're a bunch of freeloaders. Which I respect. I hope you guys are riding the fat pipe. You're taking the fat pipe, Hilo? You in this? What's it showing?
Think they need their own investigations.
You smell that? What is that?
Okay, there you go, Lady Trader. There's the flex. There's the flex. She just freaking flexed 10 all over your fat pipes.
I smell money. Okay.
With her own fat pipe. Right, lady? You're still in this? Huh? Lady's got a fat pipe. Oh my gosh, Soils. No, Soils. It's obviously the strap-on.
I'll take NVIDIA, seeing heavy activity at the lows for NVIDIA.
Let's go. How balls deep are you, lady? You're in this, cheese? Or are you just commenting from the freaking sidelines? I'm light, 500 left, but a 5K. Let's go. Let's go. Taking over the #1 gifted spot. Why did you track my message? I didn't retract your message. I don't do any of that shit. That's all the mods, and that's all auto mod. So suck it. Suck a fat pipe. Damn it, NVIDIA. Now you go down. As soon as I saw, you could see the exact moment that I stopped out. Oh, so NVIDIA's oh, I see what's happening. Because they're going to get their own tariff. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. I see. I see now. Market ain't gonna like that, is it? Bitcoin. Okay. Are we gonna see Nvidia 100 today? See where this takes us. It's 101.40 level. If it breaks down, we might have a chance. Nice window down to 10. 2180.
FATN share as we zoomed hit a high of 23.27, up 304% now, and halted again. IPO up 304%. FATN Fat Pipe. Foxtrot Alpha Tango November.
Did it just bounce? Of course it did. 1 minute cock. We're right at yesterday's high. So that's my over under here. It's opening at 30. Get the hell out of here. 35. Oh my gosh, you guys are about to freaking party like Wolf of Wall Street. Yep. Fat Pipe in Discord. Yep. We want to see it. Back down to 25. Can we stop with this bullshit, please? Stop me out. I want hurt. I want freaking hurt. I reverse large caps, small caps, mid caps, doesn't matter. You need a stock to change direction, you let me know. Just went down for 10 minutes straight. As soon as I shorted it, bounce. I'm here for it. It's the freaking power I have. I can't remember what freaking Muff Crabs is. I can't remember.
More live comments from U.S. Trade Representative Greer saying we excluded pharmaceuticals and semiconductors from reciprocal tariffs because we think they need their own investigations. And also looking at countries' trade imbalance with the U.S. is a good approximation of the net effects of its higher tariffs and unfair trade practices. That via C-SPAN from a Senate committee hearing. Here's your noon market update. All major indexes in the green, starting with the SP 500 to up 2.42% to 5,184.91. Dow Jones Industrial Average up 2.51% to 38,919.90. NASDAQ Composite up 2.53% to 15,998.33. Gold up 1.57% to $3,020.40. And crude oil seeing a lift up 0.91% to $61.25 a barrel. That is your noon market update. 4 hours to the close on this Tuesday.
An RYET IPO now open.
RYET. Did it just halt? Did it just straight halt?
RYET, that is Reunion Edi Technology. The IPO opening at $7.30, priced at $4. That is Romeo, Yankee, Echo, Tango. And RYET, Ryan Edi Technology, immediately on a circuit breaker halt to the downside.
Downside.
That is Romeo, Yankee, Echo, Tango.
Okay.
More comments from U.S. Trade Representative Greer saying we can't have the status quo on trade. We need U.S. manufacturing and market access abroad. And also, if we have companies that feel supply chain adjustment pain, that is something we have to do. It's U.S. Trade Representative Greer on C-SPAN and a Senate.
Horseshit. The horseshit is real. You're in GME 50K worth. Tell you what, Ryan Cohen buying.
On OMEX, file the Form RW.
Ticker OMEX. No company is withdrawing their offering. Oscar Michael Echo X-ray.
What was their offering priced at? Six. Fat end resumed, halting down.
More from U.S. Trade Representative Greer. President Trump will not accept a situation where Wall Street is allowed to run the economy. That via C-SPAN during a Senate hearing. ChatGPT live data just went down. Oh. Yeah. I think we got resumption on this sucker. It's got to be like 12:05. Well, is this a 10-minute halt?
It's being reported from Axios. Disney is expanding global ad tech platform.
579. Jeez. Okay. Let's try this again.
I'm watching shares of TTD. Notes a possible negative catalyst for that stock on that news for Trade Desk.
SXTP's trying to make a VWAP move here.
AMZN live on CNBC. Karen Firestone buys more Amazon. Amazon currently up 1.6% on the session.
FMTO out of the hall.
$178.02 a share. That is Alpha, Mike Zulu November.
They're getting a little weird right now. Just reverse. Stop. Every freaking 5-minute cuck? Nope. Not this time. $480? That's quite a gap.
Fed Goolsby says that the tariffs are much more than what we had been modeling.
My gosh, this is the shit that he sends me.
More from U.S. Trade Representative Greer, live on C-SPAN in a Senate hearing. I don't trust economists' predictions of tariff inflation because there was no inflation during Trump's first term.
Winston gifting out the sub to Mediza. Let's go. So low volume cuck here. Fat pipe cooling off. Acting might cross down if this doesn't get a bounce soon. And rejected. Another low volume cuck. Yeah. Now you're doing 5-minute cuck. Close. It was there. Saw the volume spike with that break too. If you regain, maybe you go.
FMTO, that's Femtech Technologies, halted again. Circling the upside, stock up 525.6% to $3.45 on the day, up $2.89. That is Foxtrot, Mike, Tango, Oscar.
$25.
More from U.S. Trade Representative Greer, live on C-SPAN in a Senate hearing. Wall Street and analysts are wrong on job losses. They never want any kind of change in status quo.
Some sellers up there at 25. Over 25, I'd add back. That would be a 5-minute cuck go but it needs to break 25. All right, I'm ready to. I'm ready to lie. I'm ready to rock, baby. Just don't.
DIS, that is Disney. They've announced that they've expanded their proprietary customer data that underpins its ad tech platform to both Europe and the Middle East. Executives told Axios the expansion comes as Disney's competitors are racing to build their own global ad tech businesses as the subscription streaming landscape becomes more saturated. Disney shares trading up 1.9% on the session, $84.
This is a new guy that Benzinga's hired
That is
to sub in.
Delta, India.
He's like a replacement
Sierra.
for Chuck's bastard son. Think of him that way. What is he say about? Great question. So 5-minute cuck here didn't do anything. Still looking for the 5-minute cock. Video. Yep. Did the 5-minute pop as soon as I went short. Now it's back down. I don't know. This market might need. It is kind of starting to roll a little bit. A new pipeline ruptured. Fat end halted up. Yeah. When's this RYET gonna open?
This via Bloomberg. Former Treasury Secretary Lawrence Summers has warned that the U.S. is now likely headed toward a recession with potentially 2 million Americans put out of work thanks to the tariff increases now in train. That via Bloomberg.
There it is. Don't go back down. Damn. Gotta hold these levels. $51.87. Damn it. Look at the volume with this break. Inverse head and shoulder, neckline, all at 330.
AMAT live on CNBC. Karen Firestone buys Applied Materials Incorporated. Right now, shares up 4.17% of the session to $138.42 a share. That is Alpha Mike Alpha Tango.
Geez, what chart is that you sent?
Remember seeing continued weakness in markets following that strong open. We were up 3% across the board in each of the indices. Now, the Dow up 1.8%, S&P up 1.5%, and the Nasdaq up 1.55%. The Russell only up 0.5%.
Let's try it frickin' again. Geez, is that a 1 minute chart? Oh, okay, 1 minute chart.
More from U.S. Trade Representative Greer saying willing to discuss how to implement a ban on imports of uranium from China. It's U.S. Trade Representative Greer on C-SPAN at a Senate hearing.
Greer says we are willing to discuss how to implement a ban of imports of uranium from China.
RYET still halted. Fat N laying its pipe down. Uranium from China. RE, there it is.
AP reporting the Keystone Oil Pipeline in North Dakota shut after rupture. That's TRP. U.S. Trade Rep Greer said Commerce Department is considering whether a Section 232 critical minerals investigation is needed.
Jeez, this is not a good IPO here. Tempted to buy this dip. Damn it. Good fill. Wanted 450. Can we get 5? That'd be crazy. Oops. Okay. Yuck. All right, there's a 1 minute. 95 break would be great. Struggling. Gap down 20 cents. Stopping out NVIDIA again because I am the I literally can reverse this anytime you want. NVIDIA, you want a reversal? You let me know.
Karen Firestone buys more American Express.
And halting up. Nope, false halt. Okay, and down 50 cents. Okay. Didn't
Alpha
break
X-ray
5.
Papa.
Shocker, I was in a stock that false halted. I know, it's crazy. And now we're going 430. Okay. Suck my dick.
I got 99 problems, but a Lord Cuckwad haircut ain't one. A 3K day? How's SJ gonna lose all these gains and blame it on Phil's this week?
Macro notes coming out. White House press secretary says 104% additional tariffs went into effect at noon because China did not remove its retaliation.
104?
Coming from a Fox correspondent, says China misses deadline to remove retaliatory tariffs. U.S. to impose additional 50% tariff, bringing total to 104% on Chinese imports starting tomorrow. Fox correspondent.
Ain't gonna like that one.
Watching shares of Apple see new lows on that note.
FATN shares about $10 off the highs now. Fat Pipe.
Walmart. Surprised that's not really. I mean, I guess everybody saw it coming, but jeez. Gosh. As soon as I sell my freaking NVIDIA puts, what happens? Oh, yeah. Just tariffs confirmed, market dumps, you know, that kind of thing. What? Freaking garbage. Okay. Little juicer here, boys. We got some juice. Go for 100.
Now continued activity for Apple, new lows.
All right.
Members markets are continuing their weakness following those additional headlines in regards to China misses their deadline to remove retaliatory tariffs. We are lows of the day now. The NASDAQ only up about 8%. The Russell turning red on the day.
Go get me that Bobo to 100, baby. Go get
JD
it.
Harrington on CNBC buys RHP.
I bet you do. Game of chicken. Got that. Yeah, we'll see. What's Bonds doing right now? Just curious.
Shares of Ryman Hospitality. REIT getting a pop here on that. RHP on some volume coming in now.
I forgot to look up the basis trade yesterday, Chase. Forgot to. Had so much other things I had to do. It's on my list, though. Go cuck again. 35 break. Cock and drop. Give me a cock and drop. Give me the cock and drop. 35 break. Cock and drop, baby. Yes. Go low a day. 28. Lay some pipe. Lay some pipe for daddy. 28 break. Give me the 28. If I rub it, breaks. If I rub it, it breaks. But yes.
Members, traders are mentioning the commentary earlier we posted in the news desk from the Goldman desk saying that we will get sharp and temporary squeezes in this tape, witnessing one right now. That should be used as selling opportunities until the market believes policy change from this admin is likely. Since that post this morning at 10:15, which was the high of the day, we've seen complete weakness as well on that Goldman note that was circulating this morning.
Not a lot of bids coming up here. Nvidia's at 99.50. Do you know what those calls would be worth right now? I mean, puts. The puts that I tried to buy 5 different times and lost money on every single. Oh my gosh. Oh, that thing just cranked through 100. $107. Okay. Yang cranking right now, isn't it? Yep. CN50, you gotta jump on Yin Yang. Interesting. Can we chill with this bounce?
S&P futures right now up about 43, getting a little bounce here after pulling back. Needs to break 437 really to do anything.
Roger Chase.
No, CNBC is reporting that the note from Fox Business is inaccurate on tariffs.
Oh, for crying out loud.
White House Secretary says she may have been, quote, misquoted. That coming from CNBC, even jabbers on live TV for CNBC. It's tariffs, retaliatory tariffs still scheduled to be in place at 12 midnight.
Wow. Just wow. 2 days in a row, news manipulation. 2 freaking days. Holy hell. That's just crazy. Oh, I missed this move. As soon as I buy 1,000 shares, it dropped 30 cents. Please don't make that up. That's my volume. Push it down. Okay. 75,000, huh? Or 17, sorry. Let me get out. You can go have fun dicking yourself, okay? I don't want anything to do with that. Oh, yeah. An AOV, 5-minute cut go. Nice little reversal. Or bounce, I should say. Sorry about that. What do you call him? Five seconds, maybe. Not a chance, huh? So it's gapping up $1. Gang is going nutty. Ten-minute halt then, huh? Good thing there. Trying to get these clips uploaded, sorry. So then now we're 105.04? 106.04. Baba at 100 again. 30 seconds or so. Yeah, I'm in the fat pipe. I'm in it. I got it all around me. 5 seconds. 11:25 open. Still $200 gain. Holds. Locking it in. $0.70 spread there for a second. To a 40. $0.50 spread. What are we doing here? Dick's juicing. Yep. Very wide spreads on the fat pipe there. Music to my ears, Beta. Music to my ears. Oh, I don't want to save the order. What the hell is that? Why was it clicked on save? I want to save this order. Well, I just made me miss out on $200. $140K non-marginal. Well, here we are at the 150 or 130 psychological level of my account, which I would have crossed had somehow this stupid little save order button, which is in a terrible spot, should be over here. Whatever. What they knew? I mean, they probably went to the White House and they probably told them. Did they ever make a trip to the White House like everybody else early on? Damn, Soils, you sound like cheese. All right. We want to watch this Caroline Levitt presser here.
Federal assistance, like equipment and resources to support state and local emergency response officials who are leading this response on the ground. Last night, the Supreme Court delivered a massive legal victory to the Trump administration and allowed us to continue removing foreign terrorist invaders under the Alien Enemies Act.
Let's go, Megan.
This was a smackdown to a
lot of new follows today. I appreciate it all.
District court judge who have relentlessly tried to stop President Trump from using his core constitutional powers as head of the executive branch and as commander-in-chief. The highest court in the land made it clear that the President of the United States has the power to protect our homeland and forcibly remove foreign terrorists who pose a grave threat to families and communities.
Thank you to the Supreme Court for upholding the rule of law and protecting the Constitution. Our message to the monster Tren de Aragua and MS-13 terrorists still hiding illegally inside our country is clear. Deport yourself now, or you will be locked up and sent back to your home country. On another matter, the historic Liberation Day announcement last week by President Trump made it very clear that the era of American economic surrender is over. President Trump is no longer going to allow American workers and companies to be ripped off at the hands of foolish trade practices that shipped away millions of high-paying jobs and hollowed out communities across the country. It's America first, all the way. And despite fear-mongering by the media, the world is clearly responding to President Trump's approach. Just yesterday, President Trump held a bilateral meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu here at the White House. The Prime Minister pledged to immediately eliminate America's trade deficit with Israel and remove their trade barriers. Israel's proactive approach should serve as a model for the rest of the world. Also yesterday, the President spoke with Japan's Prime Minister, who wants to negotiate as well. The President also spoke to the acting President of South Korea this morning. He has tasked Secretary Bessent and U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer to lead these talks. In total, since the Liberation Day announcement, nearly 70 countries have already reached out to the
U.S.
president.
crude oil futures have fallen more than $1 after the White House official said additional tariffs on China will go into effect tonight at 12:01 a.m., April 9th.
These countries greatly respect President Trump in the sheer power of the American market. These
crude oil
countries
itself
realize they've
plus
gotten filthy rich over the past few
0.87%
decades
on
by
the day
imposing substantial
to
tariffs
60.
on American-made products and ridiculous non-monetary barriers to block out American industry. The jig is up. Past American presidents sat by and let this happen, but President Trump stood up for our country, and he is saying no more. The president's message has been simple and consistent from the beginning. To countries around the world, bring us your best offers, and he will listen. Deals will only be made if they benefit American workers and address our nation's crippling trade deficits. America does not need other countries as much as other countries need us, and President Trump knows this. He's going to use the leverage of our markets and our country to the advantage of the people he was sworn in to represent. On the other hand, countries like China, who have chosen to retaliate and try to double down on their mistreatment of American workers, are making a mistake. President Trump has a spine of steel, and he will not break, and America will not break under his leadership. He is guided by a firm belief that America must be able to produce essential goods for our own people and export them to the rest of the world. A strong America cannot be solely dependent on foreign countries for our food, medicines, and critical minerals. And America must always maintain a robust defense supply chain. Reprioritizing and strengthening our manufacturing industry are essential national and economic security issues of the utmost importance to President Trump. By focusing on supercharging the onshoring of American manufacturing, the president is already delivering on his promise to usher in an economic golden age for our country. Just look at Friday's jobs report, which smashed expectations for the second straight month. The American economy added 228,000 jobs, nearly 100,000 more jobs than economists predicted, and the fourth highest month for private payroll growth in the past 2 years. There was also a sharp increase in transportation, construction, and warehousing.
Or YET over
and in just 11 weeks,
450
President
could
Trump
do something.
secured more than $1.5 trillion in
449
private sector
anyway.
investment. This is $500 billion more than Joe Biden secured in his entire term. This record-breaking private sector investment will create roughly 350,000 American jobs and counting. If you add up all of the investment pledges from foreign governments, President Trump has secured an incredible $5 trillion in total investments already. In the months ahead, President Trump's pro-growth economic agenda will be fully realized. The largest deregulatory effort in American history is underway. Unnecessary, burdensome, costly red tape is being eliminated by this entire federal government every day, driving down costs and massively boosting small businesses. So far, President Trump's deregulation effort has already saved Americans more than $180 billion, equivalent to $2,100 per family of 4. The president's drill baby drill energy agenda, which he will discuss later this evening in the East Room, is capitalizing on the abundance of natural resources under our feet to generate more affordable electricity, cheap gas, and quality new jobs. All of this will combine to end the Biden-imposed cost of living crisis
Phoenix,
that
yeah.
absolutely crushed American
It is what it is.
Under President Trump, the
it's the beast
American
I bear.
energy industry will lead the globe over the next century, delivering lower prices and significantly strengthening our country's economic position. At the president's direction, Republicans in Congress are working quickly to pass one big beautiful bill, which will also include
One
the
big
largest
beautiful
tax cut
bill.
in American history. As President Trump has said, the House must pass this budget resolution quickly. Here in our new media seat today, we have Jasmine Wright, the White House reporter for Notice. Notice is a nonprofit and nonpartisan news site which launched in early 2024. They've gained millions of readers across the country since. Newsroom's goal is both to inform readers and train the next generation.
I was actually thinking the same thing. I feel like I don't know who writes her stuff. I don't know if she writes her stuff. I don't know how that all works. But I feel like I get the more propaganda vibe from her than I did with Kaylee. Kaylee, I feel like, could defend her stance, and I feel like this is more propaganda. Which is kind of more online with press secretary.
Sure. As the president said yesterday, Jasmine, both things can be true at the same time, and it is a non-negotiable position that the United States has faced a national security and economic crisis because of the unfair trade practices by countries around the world. As for the president, I have maintained this position. The entire administration has always said that President Trump is willing to pick up the phone and talk, and the president met with his trade team this morning, and he directed them to have tailor-made trade deals with each and every country that calls up this administration to strike a deal. And listen, and each and every one of these trade deals should be tailored and unique.
Whenever a press secretary says, I don't view him as that good.
What makes the most sense for the American
And she says it, so did Jean, whatever her name was, the last one, in the Biden administration.
Factored in or determined by
Kaylee never did.
Tumult in the stock market. Was that not a part of the consideration to start making these negotiations and deals?
Again, I would reject that there was an evolution. On day one, we had said that the president will always pick up the phone for other nations and other companies that call this administration. The president always has a listening ear, and it's a non-negotiable fact that America has faced a national security and economic crisis for many decades, and President Trump is just the first to address this.
And then my last question, how will negotiations change how much revenue the White House is planning to make from the tariffs?
Well, that has yet to be seen, but as the president said, the reciprocal tariffs, which will continue to go in effect as these deals are negotiated and ongoing, will generate trillions of dollars in revenue to the United States. And this is twofold. The president wants to onshore jobs here to the United States of America. He wants to boost our manufacturing industry. He also wants to tackle these crippling deficits with almost every single country around the world. Jackie.
Thanks, Caroline. The Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, warned that some of these negotiations might take up to months, that we could be doing this through April, May, and into June. And then you had Kevin Hassett say it's going to take a lot for the president to put his signature on the line because he wants to make sure there's a good deal for America. Is the president operating on any sort of a timeline or deadline where he wants this completed by?
Well, we always move at Trump speed here at the White House, which is incredibly fast. I know you all know that from covering this White House day to day. The president likes to get things done, but he's very much focused on ensuring that these deals are good for the American worker, they are good for American manufacturing, and again, that they tackle these crippling deficits with these countries. All options are on the table for each country, but again, these are going to be tailor-made deals. They are not going to be off-the-rack deals, as the president has called it, and he has directed his entire trade team to be part of this effort. So that includes Secretary Bessent and our National Economic Director, Kevin Hassett. It also includes Secretary Lutnick, Peter Navarro, the entire trade team, Jamieson Greer, who was on the Hill today. Everybody who was involved in this incredible, fair, reciprocal trade agenda will continue to be involved in negotiating these deals.
And then yesterday, Goldman Sachs put out a research note. It put the odds of a recession at 45% within the next 12 months, up from 35%. But Peter Navarro guaranteed last night no recession. Does the president agree with him on that? I know that the president in the past has been
Navarro, that's
leery
ballsy.
of definitive statements on that.
I can speak for the president, and I can speak for the optimism that he sees in our economy every day. Again, when you talk about the massive deregulatory efforts that are happening across the board, when you talk about how oil prices are down, gas prices are down, Egg prices are down. We're cutting costs for the American worker, for the American consumer. We also see trillions of dollars of investments pouring into this country every day, and we're working hard now on the tariff side of the president's economic agenda. But don't forget, the next side of this is tax cuts, and we're counting on Capitol Hill to get those done, the largest tax cuts in history.
Does that mean that without those tax cuts coming through, that the likelihood of a recession is greater?
No, that's not what I said. I'm just saying be mindful of the whole of government economic approach that this administration is taking every day. Sure. Go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. You just said that one of the reasons these tariffs are going into effect is that some countries have been ripping off the United States, but some of the tariffs target countries like Madagascar, Bangladesh, with very high levels of poverty. So can you explain how the president wants to correct the deficit with those countries? Is there a plan, for example, to onshore the textile industry that these countries are known because, and, just like, can you be specific about those like low income?
Sure. Well, first of all, the reciprocal tariff rates that were implemented by country were focused on the monetary tariff that those countries have imposed on the United States, but also the non-monetary tariff barriers and the regulations, if you will, that have been put into effect over the years, making it harder for America to export to these countries. These were very carefully crafted numbers. There was also a 10% baseline tariff across the board, as well, as you know. Moving forward, the president will talk to any country that picks up the phone to call, and I can tell you the
Billy,
phones have
that
been
would get
ringing
smelly.
off the hook,
Worse than
wanting to
SJ
talk to this
socks under his
administration,
bed.
this
Oh my
president and his trade team to try to strike a deal.
Frickin'
It's
bird.
because the world knows that they need the United States of America. They need our markets. They need our consumer. The president has a lot of leverage
There we
on his
go.
side because he has the best economy and the best country in the world that he leads, and he knows that. And it's about dang time we finally have a president who uses that economic leverage to benefit American workers. And that's what the president is trying to do. Maggie.
Caroline, thanks. Does the president endorse something that Howard Lutnick said on television this weekend, which was that the army of millions and millions of human beings screwing in little screws to make iPhones, that kind of thing is going to be moving to the U.S.? Is that how the president envisions manufacturing shifting? And if so, how long would that take, roughly?
The president wants to increase manufacturing.
Fat
jobs
end. Look at that gap up.
But he's also looking at advanced
Holy
technology. He's
jeez.
also looking at AI and emerging fields that are growing around the world that the United States needs to be a leader in as well. So there's
What's
an
up, Johnny?
array of diverse jobs, more traditional manufacturing jobs, as you discussed, but also jobs in advanced technologies. The president is looking at all of those. He wants them to come back home.
But iPhones specifically, is that something that he thinks is the kind of technology that can move to the U.S.?
Absolutely. He believes we have the labor, we have the workforce, we have the resources to do it. And as you know, Apple has invested $500 billion here in the United States. So if Apple didn't think the United States could do it, they probably wouldn't have put up that big chunk of change. Elena.
Hi, Caroline. It's clear the president has gotten the world's attention with these tariffs. Is he considering at all potentially holding off on imposing some of them before the deadline, or maybe later,
Say no
reversing
and
them
we
because
tank.
he's having these negotiations and having these good talks with other leaders?
The president was asked and answered this yesterday. He said he's not considering an extension or a delay. I spoke to him before this briefing. That was not his mindset. He expects that these tariffs are going to go into effect. And you said something very important, Elena, in your question. You said the president has captivated the attention of the world. Absolutely, he has. And it's about time we have a president in the Oval Office who is putting the world on notice and is putting the American people
Goes
first,
the
and again,
markets.
is using the leverage of the United States to negotiate good trade deals.
Just a
Deanna.
quick follow-up.
Sure.
There's been some public sparring between Elon Musk and the president's trade advisor, Peter Navarro, on some of these tariffs. Musk actually referred to Navarro today as being, quote, dumber than a sack of bricks.
Did he
Are
say
you,
that?
or is the administration, the president, all concerned that this is maybe impacting the public's understanding of these tariffs? It might be messing.
Did he say that?
No, look, these are obviously two individuals who have very different views
How did I miss
on
that
trade
little
and on tariffs. Boys
cat
will be
fight?
boys, and we will let their public sparring continue. And you guys should all be very grateful that we have the most transparent administration in history. And I think it also speaks to the president's willingness to hear from all sides, that he has people at the highest levels of this government in this White House who have very diverse opinions. on
Oh,
very
now it
diverse
goes.
issues, but the president takes all opinions in mind, and then he makes the best decision.
Oh
based
my
on
gosh,
the
now it
interests
goes.
Of the American public. Deanna.
Thanks, Caroline. On Truth Social today, Trump was talking about one-stop shopping talks with foreign leaders, bringing leaders to the U.S., to Washington, and talking to them about
Son of a
tariffs, but
bitch.
also other topics. So is that part of his strategy to bring the leaders to Washington and trying to get deals, outside of tariffs on foreign policy issues as well?
I think the president, again, is going to have a custom, tailor-made approach to each and every country. And if that means discussions of foreign aid, of our military presence in these countries, how those troops are paid for, come to the table, that could be part of the negotiation in these economic negotiations. But it's the president's economic team who will be leading these. These are tariff and trade negotiations. And yes, they will be one-stop shopping for each and every country. They will be, as the president said again, tailor-made, not off the rack to each and every country based on America's needs.
Can you
Caroline,
confirm?
hi, how are you? Thank you.
Good.
Carol from Lindsay TV. So President Trump has designated Tren de Aragua as a foreign terrorist organization and deported its members while also moving to restrict Venezuela's oil exports. Is the administration preparing additional military or economic actions against Venezuela and the Maduro regime? And my second question is about Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett. Is the administration have a comment on her decision to go with the liberals and go actually with the Tren de Araguas? This is the same justice that actually sided against January 6th hostages last year. So is the administration have a comment? Are they disappointed in Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett?
To your first question, I don't have any actions to read out in terms of Venezuela. The president has imposed secondary tariffs on the Maduro regime and on Venezuela in the form of oil, which is obviously going to have a crippling effect on the Maduro regime, and that's the intended effect of this administration. As for the justice you mentioned, as for the Supreme Court, we've made our feelings very clear. We believe this was a massive victory. Certainly, we wish this was a 9-0 decision because we firmly believe that the president was well within his constitutional authority, and the Supreme Court made that very clear last night, and they put Judge Boasberg in his place. We called on the Supreme Court to rein in these judges who are acting as judicial activists, not real arbiters of the truth and the law, and that's exactly what we saw the Supreme Court do yesterday. Christian.
Thanks, Caroline. Now that the president's reciprocal tariffs are here, going into effect tomorrow, what's the status of the ERS? When will they actually start collecting revenue? And will that be nested under CBP or somewhere else entirely?
It's something Secretary Lutnick has taken up, so I defer you to the Department of Commerce, but it's something that he and the president believe quite strongly in, and it's a promise that they intend to keep to the American people.
Real quickly, can you explain why the president opted to send Secretary Hegseth to the dignified
Markets are freaking juicing.
last week instead of attending himself?
Sure. The Secretary Hegseth was there to represent the administration. The president has expressed his condolences to these families, as have I from this podium. Shelby.
Thank you. The president's trade representative this morning told senators that the president does not intend on carving out exemptions for products and companies when it comes to tariffs. But would the administration consider changing that stance should bankruptcies begin among U.S. companies who are dependent on China trade?
I won't get ahead of the president on any exemptions or his decision on that. I will leave that to him. But again, we're looking at this country by country and based on the needs of the American people and the American workforce.
And one more, can you walk us through how this specific tariff plan was decided on and which advisor came up with it?
The reciprocal tariff plan? It was a plan that was discussed by the president's entire trade team over the course of many, many meetings, and the president ultimately decided on which way to go. A few proposals were given to the president. There was debate and discussion, and the president made his decision, and as you've seen very publicly, the entire trade team is on board with this plan and the negotiations that will ensue because of it. Sure.
Caroline, on Iran, given what's going to be happening on Saturday, what exactly is the current administration doing to stop Iran's funding of terrorist aggression worldwide that the previous administration wasn't doing?
Well, first of all, when it comes to Saturday, I won't get ahead of the president. He has said there will be direct talks with Iran on Saturday. I won't further any details from this podium for obvious reasons, security reasons. It will, provide an update as we always have. However, when it comes to Iran, the president has reimposed crippling sanctions on the Iranian regime, and he's made it very clear to Iran they have a choice to make. You can strike a deal with the president, you can negotiate, or there will be hell to pay. And as the president said yesterday, if they don't choose to move forward with diplomacy and a deal, which is the direction we do see them headed in, there will be grave consequences to pay. To the back row.
Thank
Go
you,
ahead.
Caroline. On the president's threat yesterday on social media to increase tariffs against China by an additional 50% in response to their retaliation, has he signed anything in terms of an executive order, any documentation around that? Will that additional 50% go into effect tomorrow?
They will be going into effect at 12:01 a.m. tonight, so effectively tomorrow, yes.
Work on that today?
Of course, as always. To the gentleman in front of you, because that's who I originally called on. Go ahead.
Over the weekend, President Trump said that he would be willing to have U.S. citizens deported to El Salvador with the cooperation of President Bukele. How would that work legally, and how many people would potentially be available for that operation?
So the president has discussed this idea quite a few times publicly. He's also discussed it privately. You're referring to the president's idea for American citizens to potentially be deported. These would be heinous, violent criminals who have broken our nation's laws repeatedly, and these are violent, repeat offenders in American streets. The president has said, if it's legal, right? If there is a legal pathway to do that, he's not sure. We are not sure if there is. It's an idea that he has simply floated and has discussed very publicly as in the effort of transparency. Reagan.
Thank you, Caroline. There's been more reporting President Biden's decline while in the White House. Is the White House considering releasing the audio of Biden's interview with Special Counsel Robert Hur to the public, which the former president had previously blocked?
I don't have an update on that, but I can certainly check. I think the American people would be quite interested to hear that tape, but I'll double check on the release of it. Thank you. Michael.
Thank you, Caroline. On Saturday, during meetings with Iran, President Trump says high-level officials will be meeting directly with Iranian officials. We're hearing some pushback from Iran now saying those talks will be indirect. Can you clarify?
They will be direct talks on Saturday, and I won't get ahead of the president on any further details. Jennifer.
Yeah, two things. On the Israel tariffs, can you give us an update on the discussion on relaxing those tariffs? And then I had another question about the DOJ team after that.
That discussion is ongoing. I don't have any definitive.
See if this 450 breaks, and then we get a juice.
And the president on Thursday.
Yeah, 450 and then 465.
The DOJ team had made, he called it horrible and incredible. Can you reveal that yet? Give us details on what it was about?
There has been a discovery. I hate to leave you hanging on a cliff, but I don't want to get ahead of the president on that. But I can confirm there has been a discovery. It's just not quite yet ready for release. Sure. Go ahead.
Caroline, thank you.
I was calling on the young lady behind you, but I'll come to you after, Ed. All right. Not discriminating here.
The president is meeting today with House Republicans. Can you say who is in that meeting and his message to Republicans that are skeptical of the Senate-passed budget framework?
Sure. The president will be meeting with Republican lawmakers today here at the White House to talk to them about the framework that the Senate passed. The president was very quick to put out a statement about his support for the reconciliation package that the Senate passed, and he is counting on House Republicans to pass it. The Republicans received an overwhelming mandate from the American public to govern. We have an extraordinary opportunity. There are key promises that the president made to the American people in this bill.
Yang over 65. That's yesterday's high. Watch the ball get rolling there.
Of American energy. These are good things for the American people. The president wants to see this get done, and that's why he's engaging with lawmakers today.
Just a quick follow-up on tariffs. Kevin Hassett said today that the administration is prioritizing talks with Japan and South Korea, other trading partners. Are there other countries on that list that you guys can name publicly that you're having serious discussions with?
Sure. As you have heard from various administration officials, myself included, there have been nearly 70 countries that have reached out to the administration last time I checked, but again, I hear the phones are ringing off the hook. There are foreign leaders who want to fly to Washington tonight and get on a plane to negotiate with this country, which shows you the leverage that the president is using. It shows you the rest of the world needs the United States of America to do business with. Israel, obviously, yesterday, you heard a public statement from Prime Minister Netanyahu. The president has detailed his calls with the leaders of Japan.
Fat end open.
We are going to prioritize our allies and our partners around the world first when it comes to these negotiations, and the trade team will be divvying them up again to make tailor-made trade deals around the world. Ed, go ahead. As promised.
Yes, thank you. You mentioned the 70 countries or so.
17.
I'm curious, though, under what conditions at this point would
50.
President Trump talk to President Xi about tariffs?
Look, I just spoke to the president about this, and he believes that China wants to make a deal with the United States. He believes China has to make a deal with the United States. It was a mistake for China to retaliate. The president, when America is punched, he punches back harder. That's why there will be 104% tariffs going into effect on China tonight at midnight. But the president believes that Xi and China want to make a deal. They just don't know how to get that started. And the president also wanted me to tell all of you that if China reaches out to make a deal, he'll be incredibly gracious, but he's going to do what's best for the American people.
So China has to call first?
The Chinese want to
False
make a deal.
halt?
They
What are we
just don't
doing
know
here?
how to do it, but the
Look at this
president
weak
will,
ass halt.
be implementing these 104
Look at this, and I'm in it.
on China tonight.
We're gonna gap down $20 here. It's gonna go negative.
It
What are
would
we
be
doing?
nice of me to tell you those conditions here from the podium. Sure, Gabe.
Thanks, Caroline. With regards to the Supreme Court ruling on the Alien Enemies Act, you're right, it was a win for the administration, but the justices also said that deportees are entitled to due process. Does the administration agree with that?
That's not quite true, Gabe.
Am I frozen here?
They are entitled to a habeas petition, and we are going to continue to comply with the law, and we are wholly confident that every single person that has been deported under the Alien Enemies Act, every person that will continue to be
Like it didn't,
under the
like when it halts on E-Trade, there we go. That's better. Okay. No, it didn't halt. Like it didn't show a halt. It was just like bid ask, and usually it does this stuff. Now that you're seeing it, okay, it's halted, and the halt bot didn't say it was halted. So suck a dick, all of you.
And she said that we reject your response.
I saw that reporting. I don't want to confirm it from this podium. I don't want to comment on it because I'm not sure, but I would defer you to the National Security Council.
So you haven't confirmed the report, but with Mexico's president saying that she rejects any of that, what would your response be? How is the relationship then between Mexico's president and the White House right now over targeting drug cartels?
Well, first of all, the relationship between President Sheinbaum and President Trump is quite good, and I think both world leaders would tell you that. The president has been engaged directly with President Sheinbaum on a number of different topics, particularly when it comes to clamping down on the Mexican drug cartels, on clamping down on illegal immigration, human trafficking, drug trafficking through our southern border. She's taken significant steps towards doing that, but as for that specific report, again, I'm not going to comment.
Caroline, two questions on trade. First, as a part of these negotiations, is it possible for countries to lower their tariffs below that 10%?
At the information headline, merchants hike prices on Amazon DTC sites.
Determinations, but I can tell you that 10% universal baseline will go into effect as these negotiations are ongoing.
Got it. And then what is your thinking just as far as low labor cost countries? Like if you've got a country like Vietnam that wants to negotiate, but obviously they have some advantages in terms of trade, in terms of the people there are not paid
Bonds,
as
huh?
American citizens. What is kind of the thinking? Can they still achieve a good kind of trade outcome with the United States?
Well, again, you're right to point out that different countries have different labor markets. They have different skills, if you will, different resources, and the president is going to take all of that into account. His team will take all of that into account when they're negotiating these deals. I do just want to point out one thing, that the president, everybody in Washington, whether they want to admit it or not, knows that this president is right when it comes to tariffs and when it comes to trade. In fact, Democrats have long said that the United States of America has been ripped off by the countries around the world. They just don't want to admit it now because it's President Trump who is saying that. In June of 1996, Nancy Pelosi spoke on the House floor. She urged her colleagues at the time to fight against the status quo trade policies that had contributed to America's trade deficit with China. In fact, Nancy Pelosi said, "How far does China have to go? How much more repression? How big a trade deficit? How many jobs have to be lost for the American workers? How much dangerous proliferation has to exist before members of this House of Representatives will say, 'I will not endorse the status quo'?" Those are the words of Nancy Pelosi in 1996. Well, President Trump is finally answering her call 27 years later. Nancy Pelosi can thank President Trump today for the 104% retaliatory tariff that will be going into effect on China. In 2007, Chuck Schumer spoke of our nation's crippling trade deficit, saying these are the kinds of records the American people don't want us to be breaking. The administration needs to move beyond words, take action now to reverse a trend that threatens our prospects for future economic growth. And Chuck Schumer said that in 2007. Finally, in 2025, President Trump is taking action. Recently defeated Democrat Sherrod Brown said on deficits in 2012 that our deficit then at China had reached an all-time high, and it was on pace to recede last year's record. The trade deficit had cost American workers millions of jobs at the time. These are the words of Democrats years ago. It is about time America finally has a president who is taking action to restore those millions of jobs back to the United States of America to boost our manufacturing industry. He's doing what's right for the American people. It will take a lot of labor. It will take a lot of effort. But that's exactly what the American people elected this president to do. He will be talking about our energy agenda at 3 o'clock today. Over in the East Room, as you all know, he will be signing a bill to unleash the might of our beautiful, clean coal industry in this country, which is a reliable energy source also for AI. There's a great story in Bloomberg today, actually, about the executive order that will be signed later. So we'll see you all there. I'll let the president speak more. We'll see you later. Thanks, guys.
Oh, shit. Fat P. Fat N or whatever is up right now. We're open. Good God. Here we go. It's going to go high day, isn't it? I only got 25 freaking shares. Oh, damn it. Oh. SXTP coming back up here. Getting ugly. The Pump It Up song. Holy moly, what a day. Jeez. It's like one of those days where everything you touch is a green trade. But it also reminds me if I would have held 10 seconds longer, I would be up an extra $1,000. So there's that. This little pivot point here at 1050. Always disputed. Always. Always. Same thing Peaches tells me.
I get off stage, right? Drop my pants, walk up to these hot chicks, and I'm all like, "Sup, ladies? Name's Stock Jock. You're the lead singer of Ma Cox."
Oh my gosh. I wonder if that would work though. I gotta try it. 56. Jeez. Oh, jeez.
What would I do without your uptrend now? Fluctuating high, then dropping down. You've got my meat spinning, no kidding. I can't read right round.
Where do you get this shit? Why did you give some back, lady? From 8 to 5. Yeah, it could be a timing of day thing. It's usually pretty difficult to find stuff midday. Today's a little bit of an exception. I haven't seen Pizza G stream in a while. What's she up to? Please. She's engaged. My anus fat pipe. Got a 5-minute on this NAOV. Maybe, huh? The 3? No. I don't really even use the 5. It's kind of just there. God.
All this talk about fat pipe, and look how red SJ's cheeks get. Oh, Billy. Congrats on the nice green day, SJ. Keep it up and keep it green.
Oh, wow. Thank you, nice parrot. It's this. What is this? For crying out loud. First human death from bird flu? I've already forgotten what the bird flu plays were. Sega, that would be it. Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. First death in Mexico. Yes, everybody. I'm up $5,000. How does that? Yes. My nipples are very hard right now. There's 2 ways you could have known I was very green today: by the hardness of my nipples, or the green numbers underneath my face right there. One of those 2 things. Jeez. For when Trading Mama comes back. Oh, jeez. No. No one needs to show Trading Mama that. How is it possible? Well, think of it this way. Everything's connected via like ETFs. I mean, that's one way to do it. Literally everything. Even Bitcoin now. Or some fun. That's why you get the market moving all together. RYT. This is interesting, this volume that's coming in here. 460 is still my level. Or 465, I guess. $74. Roger that, cheese. I'm in the market for some bowling shoes, preferably new, but maybe open to heavily used rental ones. Just have any suggestions? Shred? Kick yourself in the dick. Fat end curl. Watch for a move over that 1875. Oh. Didn't really get a 5-minute cuck anywhere in here, so I'm a little hesitant that if this breaks, it just cracks it like it did here. So I might wait till the 20 if I have an option. Or just go smaller size. Yep, there's your crack. Really needs to do something with this. How'd that not go through? Is it halting? Okay, no. Why didn't that order go through? All right, there's a cock on a 1 minute. Give us the cock. Lay the pipe. Oh, I got filled really bad there. And then it chooses the 1940. Go figure. Hold up, man. All right, I'll look for a rebuy it. Some sort of setup here. Canada, okay. Golly. It's getting crazy here. What did Canada say? Oh, you just said Canada. I have no idea what they did. There it is. Canada says it's already announced 25% counter tariffs against some U.S. made autos will go into effect April 9. Got it. Still bouncing off the 9 EMA. Looking for the 1 minute cock here. I'm calling it. I gotta run some few errands here. Good day. I don't want to go as long as yesterday. Jeez. SXTP, nice juicer right there. I'd be watching the fat pipes. Obviously, news you gotta watch if you're interested in those news. Last call. Get it while you can, baby. We're gonna go raid B and Bree. It's been a while. I don't know who Bree's on with, but yeah, thank you. Finally back to where I was from 3 weeks ago in the account anyway. So let's hope I don't dick it up tomorrow. Call at 3 p.m. Good to know. Yep. So I'll be dipping. I won't be around in Discord later, and it'll take me a while to run these errands. So you guys have a good day. Congrats to those that killed it on the fat pipe. Hopefully we get another Dr. Soils IPO tomorrow. Again, if you guys have any questions or comments, I've already responded to a bunch of them today. Hit me up in the DMs on Discord. I'm here to help. I don't like seeing people lose money, especially retail. Now, if they're a big boy losing money, then suck my dick. All right, you guys are awesome. See you tomorrow.